Greetings and salutations, young true believers. Today we're beginning the chapter on hunger and poverty, and the first of our readings is from Peter Singer, who's an Australian philosopher. Uh, when I was in grad school, true story, grad school at UC Santa Crap, um, Peter Singer came to UCSC and he gave a little talk. And afterwards, we philosophy graduate students took him out to dinner. We took him to a vegetarian restaurant in Santa Cruz, and he and I sat across from each other and we talked about Australian rock and roll all night. True story. Singer's a really nice guy. Singer is controversial, however, because he advocates various things that ruffle the feathers of the establishment, right? For example, he argues that if you make $100,000 per year, right, um, after your living expenses have been met, which amounts to $30,000 or $40,000 uh, per year, um, you should be prepared to donate the remainder of your what's known as discretionary income to charity, right? And he cites a New York University philosopher, a man named Peter Unger, who gives us an interesting thought experiment in his book, Living High and Letting Die, right? So he wants us to imagine that there's a man named Bob, and Bob is a gentleman who's worked hard his entire life, right? And he's close to retirement, but rather than having, a house, which he intends to sell, and this will, you know, uh, serve to finance his retirement, right? To fund his retirement. Bob has an old Bugatti, which is an Italian sports car, very sought after, very esteemed, right? Um, Now, Bob's Bugatti is somewhere in the neighborhood of $750,000. That's what it's been appraised at, right? So, Singer notes Bob has invested most of his savings in the old Bugatti, which he has not been able to insure. Now, that sounds bizarre, but hey, we're just going to go with it, right? The Bugatti is his pride and joy. In addition to the pleasure he gets from driving and caring for his car, Bob knows that its rising market value means that he will always be able to sell it and live comfortably after his retirement. One day, when Bob is out for a drive, he parks the Bugatti near the end of a railway siding and goes for a walk up the track. As he does so, he sees that a runaway train with no one aboard is running down the railroad track. Looking further down the track, he sees the small figure of a child very likely to be killed by the runaway train. He can't stop the train, and the child is too far away to warn of their danger, but he can throw a switch that will divert the train down the siding where his Bugatti is parked. Then nobody will be killed, but the train will almost certainly destroy his Bugatti. Thinking of his joy in owning the car and the financial security it represents, Bob decides not to throw the switch. The child is killed. For many years to come, Bob enjoys owning his Bugatti and the financial security it represents, right? Now, Singer asks you to think about Bob's behavior, right? Most of you would probably think, okay, this is reprehensible. You could have saved the child's life by simply throwing a switch, but you opted to save your car, right? And then this is where things get really controversial because Singer wants to ask, well, do we really do anything all that differently, right? Bob's conduct, most of us will immediately respond, was gravely wrong, and Unger agrees. But then he reminds us that we too have opportunities to save the lives of children. We can give to organizations like UNICEF or Oxfam America. How much will we have to give one of these organizations to have a high probability of saving the life of a child threatened by easily preventable diseases, right? Unger called up some experts and used the information they provided to offer some plausible estimates that include the cost of raising money, administrative expenses, and the cost of delivering aid where it is most needed. By his calculation, $200 in donations would help transform a sickly 2-year-old into a healthy 6-year-old, offering safe passage through childhood's most dangerous years. To show how practical philosophical argument can be, Unger even tells his readers that they can easily donate funds by using their credit card and calling one of these toll-free numbers, 800-367-5437 for UNICEF and 800-693-2687 for Oxfam America. And he notes, now you too have the information you need to save a child's life. How should you judge yourself if you don't do it, right? Well, again, we were extremely critical of Bob saving his Bugatti at the expense of a child's life, right? But think about all the times, Singer asked, that you go to, you go online, right? Some retail therapy, as we like to call it these days, right? And you buy a new pair of pants, right? Some jeans, some True Religions or something, right? Or you buy jewelry, or you buy a new DAT player or a new phone, or you buy, uh, some other frivolous thing that you don't need but you want, right? That money could have been spent, much better spent, saving a child's life. So are we all that different, Singer wants to know, from Bob? Now, obviously, people get upset by this argument, right? Because hey, whoa, Peter Singer, I'm not a monster, right? I care about children, and in reality, Singer does not expect you to donate all of your discretionary income or even the bulk of it. But Singer's point is this: we typically don't donate any of it, and when just a little bit could go a long way. We need to do more to help, right? There are obviously good reasons why we would not donate the bulk of our discretionary income to a charity, and part of that is because it would destroy the economy of any given nation if people did not spend their discretionary income on luxuries, right? On things like dining out or new clothes or whatever. But nevertheless, we have a duty to help to the extent that we're able. And most of us, well, maybe perhaps not most of us, but a good many of us in the rich nations of the world are in a position to help, and we should be helping. Um, and that means just donating and helping out more than we actually do. So, again, it's a controversial and thought provoking article. Um, the article we'll take a look at for the next class is Garrett Hardin's Lifeboat Ethics, and that is a disturbing article to say the least. But Hardin asked some difficult questions about the value of helping the poor, which I think are not challenged often enough. I think Hardin's theses deserve some pushback. They deserve a lot of pushback. But again, we'll come to that next time.